Fairy Tail 100 Years Quest Chapter 128 is currently out, and this was a fun chapter. Honestly, this is a quick and fun chapter once more with some really funny moments, as well as setting things up for the matchups that we're going to see, who saves who, and also gives us some more Sabretooth goodness. And I'm honestly just really glad to see Sabretooth take a more active role in the plot, because they needed a lot more stuff to do. But there's not too much for me to do a prelude on for this chapter, so let's just hit that intro and get right into the video. So chapter 128 of 100 Years Quest, titled Tigers United, is, just as it sounds, the Sabretooth Tiger Guild literally uniting to take on Golden Owl with Natsu. So the chapter starts off at the coal mining guild, Gagarok, as Natsu, Rogue, and Sting are staring down menacingly at a beaten down, well, Gagarok member, as he's just saying, "Come on, give me a break, the Gold Owl guys, they just asked me to do this." And it's honestly kind of pitiful. He's just on the ground, on his knees, just telling them, "I don't know anything." But Natsu keeps saying, "Where is everyone?" But he just says, "Look, it's Golden Owl. I was just following orders to catch a wizard from Fairy Tail." As Natsu just says, "Where's the guild?" As Gagarok just says, "Go, just leave town and go north. It's right there." And Natsu's getting ready to basically storm off. But Minerva says, "Look, Natsu, just wait. You fairies are kind of lukewarm when it comes to your methods." As she then basically goes back to Grand Magic Games Minerva and starts to try and beat the crap in, being incredibly menacing and domineering towards the enemy that they have down on the ground, putting her heel on his forehead, as she just has this very sadistic look on her face. Now look, I hated her in Grand Magic Games, but I wouldn't lie if I didn't miss her being like this. I think I might have a type. Anyway, Sting and Rogue are also getting kind of menacing as he just says, "Don't think you'll get away with messing with Natsu's friends. You're going to tell us everything you know." As Yukino just telling them to calm down, as Minerva has another sinister smirk, as she, Rogue, and Sting just go wild and destroy the whole coal mining guild, with Yukino just worrying about what they're doing, and Natsu just kind of dumbfounded. In the aftermath, he just says, "You guys just wanted to go wild, didn't you?" As Sting is trying to deny this, he just, "I'm not like you, Natsu." But if anybody knows about going wild unnecessarily, it's Natsu. But let's be honest, if they didn't do that, at some point Natsu would have. I mean, it's just who Natsu is. But thanks to that, they now have all the information they need, with all the different angles and places where everyone's being kept and separated. And Sting is kind of trying to get Natsu's approval, being like, "Yeah, it's alright that we went on a rampage now, isn't it?" But Natsu just laughs, saying like, "For a moment, it felt like I was with everyone in the guild," basically calling Minerva to be kind of like their Urza, Yukino like Lucy, saying that Frosh and Lecter are Carla and Wendy, which is kind of hilarious, stating that Sting is kind of like Gray, and Sting is thinking, "Oh, then I'm like you, right, Natsu?" As Natsu then brings up a happy costume out of nowhere and says, "Nah, you're happy." As we then get a comedic image just showing Natsu with the Sabretooth Guild dressed as everyone from his team in Fairy Tail. It's honestly kind of hilarious. Oh man. And this is a nice two-panel bit where Natsu just like, "Just say I like happy is." And Sting just refuses. But then Natsu then holds up a fish and Sting just says it. Oh man, I have to admit, this is kind of a funny bit. I don't know why, but Fairy Tail gets good with its comedic timing. I kind of like it. But Rogue basically just said, "Enough with the bit. Let's stop messing around," and that goes for Natsu also. But Natsu just says everybody will be fine, even though Minerva just reminds Natsu that he was basically worrying about everybody back at the inn. But he says, "Look, of course, I'm gonna go save them anyway." But when you think about it, they were just caught off guard. If they weren't, they probably would have fought off everyone else, and the man makes a lot of sense. Especially with Urza and Jalal together. Lucy, if she called out a Celestial Spirit and used one of the star dresses. Gray and Wendy, they're no slouches, so yeah, if they were caught off guard, it makes sense. And now she says don't underestimate them. And Sting and Rogue do kind of agree. Not to mention everybody was broken up into 3 groups of 2 from them being captured. So yeah, they're kind of reassured. Lecter then brings up, "The problem is Lucy and Happy though." Natsu's angry, being like, "What do you take them for?" But then Sting basically tells Natsu, "Do you know what they do to girls in captivity?" Okay, I'm not gonna mention how this looks. But then Minerva basically just tries to like feed Sting's imagination with weird things, with Yukino calling them out. But this just stokes Natsu to just go and take them on and save them anyway. It's calling Sabretooth that they have a very sick imagination. Natsu goes out to save Lucy and Happy, asking Yukino and Sting to come with him. As after they run off, Minerva's like, well, I guess since I'm technically his Urza replacement for this moment, I guess I'll go find Urza and Jalal. As Rogue is being like, well, since everyone else is just Wendy, Carla, and Gray substitutes, they might as well go find them. Rogue tells Minerva to be careful, but Minerva just says, come on, I have the easiest route by far. This is Urza and Jalal. Do they really need me to save them? Makes sense, but they're in a very precarious situation at this moment, as we cut to an old house in the forest, as the creepy old man that captured Urza and Jalal in a photo is basically pinning them on his wall. And they're basically wondering what's going on. They were stuck in a photo. Jalal is stuck in a very precarious situation. Funny fan servicey moments. They then wonder what's going on. Is this some kind of magic? But the old man says it's alchemy, and states that Gold Owl's main goal for capturing Fairy Tail members is mainly because they want to use their power, their magic power, as raw alchemic material. And that it'll be wonderful material. We then get an image of Natsu's group running off to rescue Lucy and Happy, as he then imagines more fanservicely and stuff that I probably should not show on YouTube, moments that he assumes that they're doing while he is blushing. We then cut to a cave where we hear some very questionable noises, which just turns out to be the old lady that knocked out Lucy and Happy just trying to eat some dried potatoes in a very weird way. Lucy's tied up in a cage cell, as, yeah, Lucy and Happy are kind of like, why is she eating with that type of voice? Anyway, the bit is broken when Lucy asks why she was kidnapped. The old lady doesn't really know. She's an informant. That part of what she said was true, but all she really says that Golden Owl wants wizards from Fairy Tail. If anyone catches them, they'll get paid a lot. That's basically it, and with Urza's group, we learn that it's also for basic alchemic material. We then cut to the Alchemy Guild Gold Owl, the main base seemingly for the entire guild, where Rogue ends up coming here, and yeah, he ended up picking the most difficult course of action, as this is where Gray and Wendy are, and he just has two Exceeds that can't really fight. I mean, Rogue is no slouch, he's strong, he's a Dragon Slayer with Dragon Force, but to fight off an entire alchemy guild not knowing what they're capable of, it's kind of a hard thing. But if they do manage to rescue Gray and Wendy, then they'll actually be able to do something and get out of the guild. Rogue turns into the shadow and sneaks into the guild hall, noticing Gray, Wendy, and Carla tied up in the middle of a room with a bunch of Gold Owl members surrounding them, with the chapter ending with them wondering when the rest of the captives are gonna make it there, with the chapter ending with a panel of Gray stating, "You're trying to pick a fight with Fairy Tail? You know what's gonna happen next, right?" And yeah, that's the chapter. Once again, mainly just set up for what's gonna happen in this arc. Nothing too crazy, nothing too big, just a lot of comedic moments set up for the main groups that's gonna happen, and some more insight on what Golden Owl wanted Fairy Tail for. It's not really that they were messing with their plans, more just for alchemic material, which has to do with their magic. So I'm curious to see what's going to happen with that as well. And I wonder what's going to happen with these matchups. Honestly, I feel like Natsu's route and Minerva's route, they're probably going to be really quick. Because honestly, Minerva taking on someone that can trap someone in a photo, it's basically another dimension. She has some type of space manipulation magic, so she's actually got a pretty good matchup if it works in that manner. Natsu can probably just bust in there, and honestly, with Sting there, they got two Dragon Slayers, they'll take out the old lady, and if she tries to knock them out, Yukino might be able to use her Celestial Spirits to actually turn the tide in their favor. So yeah, Rogue does actually have the worst matchup out of everybody. If you can get a surprise attack on the Alchemy guy that can swap places with other people and objects, then yeah, he can just free Gray and Wendy and then just book it out of there. But it's not going to be that easy. I really do think that we're going to meet some of the other Diablos members. If God Serena is in there, he'll be able to sniff out Rogue right away. So Rogue versus God Serena. I'm calling it now, sometime within the next 5 chapters. I get 5 chapters max. God Serena is going to show up and try and fight Rogue. And then Rogue is going to do what Gajiel was going to do and fight him off. Maybe he'll actually be able to do some damage to God Serena. Or he'll get his ass kicked as Gray and Wendy end up getting out of there. as he's a distraction. But that's all we really know. Not too much happened in this chapter. I like the whole, replacement team Natsu fairy tale bit that we got there. It was actually kind of funny. Honestly, this whole arc has so far had a lot of comedic moments with Sabretooth. I'm glad we got them, but overall nothing too much happened. Just plain setup, comedic moments, and return of sadistic Minerva, which I kind of like. Anyway, leave your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section down below on what do you think is going to happen next, how do you think these matchups are going to go, and if we're going to see some of the top brass of Golden Owl show up in this instance, because this feels too perfect for that not to happen for at least one of the characters we got introduced to previously. And what do you think this whole arc is going to boil down to, and if maybe Diablos will show up back in the story at this point? Thoughts and opinions and theories in the comment section down below. And once more, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell for updates on future videos. It really does help. I enjoy the fairy tale reviews on this channel, and I want to do more stuff. I plan to do some other fairy tale type discussion videos, so look forward to that. But with all that said and done, I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and hope you all have an awesome day.